Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 10. We're going to be jumping into the Gauntlet this week, and the idea that I'm trying to bring into the Gauntlet this week is playing a collection of decks that should be good against the control decks, right? Something that is just naturally good against the likes of Darkness and the likes of the Bandle Tree, and then something that can beat up on the aggro decks while it's at it, and so looking to be pretty decent against the various burn decks of the format, and that just leaving us with this middle ground as to where ideally. We'll just not play against Pan-theon Yuumi. If it turns up, that will be our ban of choice. If we're facing against lineups that play both Bandle Yuumi and Trundle Gnar, then we'll ban Trundle Yuumi and then try to coin flip against Trundle Gnar, and then otherwise, ideally, be playing against the more aggro end of the spectrum, to where we're slightly tuned to deal with it, or play against the more controlling end of the spectrum to where we are. Just naturally good matchups, anyways. And so, to show the list that we're bringing with this idea in mind, we are bringing back Quinn Misfortune. The Scouts deck is fantastic against both Darkness and Bandletree, and then I like how it kind of plays against the early aggressive style decks. We have made a handful of adjustments from the previous video where we were just laddering with the suppressor scouts. We're still bringing the suppressors today, but the only changes out of that video were we dropped one. Where'd you go? One Stony suppressor. We dropped one Island Navigator, and then we took out Jin Vivi, with the idea of just pushing our curve down lower. And so with the removal of those, we have added in a couple of Penitent Squires, and then one Radiant Guardian. And so kind of the idea with this is the Radiant should still be exceptional against the aggro decks of the format. It is, a little on the slower side of things, but she still comes down faster than a Jin Vivi, but just losing out on the one card against the control decks doesn't seem that upsetting. And then, as we talked about in our previous video, playing the scouts, we were really kind of looking for one of these one drops. We were getting beat up by the burn decks when we didn't have a one drop to come down and interact with our opponents. Excuse me. And so I have brought in the Penitent Squires to assist with that. And so, very similar to the other one. Again, this should beat up on Darkness and beat up on Bandle Tree. It's not that great against Trundle Gnar and Yuumi Pan-theon. Those are what we're looking to ban. And, it's already kind of coin flippy against the aggro / burn decks of the format. Hopefully, with the additions of Penitent Squire and Radiant Guardian, we will get a little bit of an edge against those. And kind of the other overarching theme that we see with this is I'm looking to take advantage of the big unit boosters. A lot of these decks are pretty good at going wide, looking to take advantage of Vanguard Sergeant, or as we roll into the next one, looking to take advantage of Yordles in Arms. And so, again, a fairly stock list of the Yordles in Arms Gnar here. Again, this is another deck that does pretty well against the control decks. They have a lot of issues with these go wide strategies with the big booms and the Yordles and Arms style cards, and then it can hopefully beat up on the aggro decks as well, as they tend to have issues with you just completely filling up the board with the various Fey units. And so, again, it's fairly standard Gnar list, pretty bad against Yuumi Pan-theon, pretty bad against Trundle Gnar, but those are the ones we're looking to ban and avoid. And so, again, looking to go big with the Yordles in Arms, we can pop that off fairly quickly. Fairly standard list here. And then the last one we're bringing to the party is Akshan Sivir. Again, a lot of the same ideas that we were bringing to the other one. Not as strong against the control decks of the format, but they ultimately do have to pay a ton of respect to Sivir. She's extremely good at just acing all of the control decks with her flip. Just giving the entirety of your board spell shield is extremely, extremely powerful. And then we have a bit of the text to try and battle the aggro decks. We have the 4 early game plays in the Fleet Feather Tracker and the Brightsteel Seeker, only playing 1 Preservarium in terms of card advantage style landmarks, and then we are playing the 2 Radiant Guardians. We've dropped some of the Vicaran Bruisers, picked up some Radiant Guardians to help for the aggro matchups. Just a really monstrous type unit when we're playing the likes of single combats and cataclysms and concerted strikes to come down and just give ourselves tons and tons of life. And so there you have it. That's what we're going to be battling with today. Let's get everyone lined up here. Here's Akshan Sivir. Here's Suppressor Scouts. They're marked as favorites, but not at the top. So boom, our collection has been confirmed. And then before we go in, you know what we have to do. We have to pay the pay-to-win price. The pay-to-win Piper, if you will. Akshan Sivir was the first one here on the list. Let's see who is available to go premium. This is, oh man, we even got Akshan premium in this one. I think Sivir might be premium. So what do we got? The Preservarium. Is that going to be the only one? And then we're going to be full premium here? Oh, feels good. We ought to take this Rite of Negation out just to make sure we're doing it good. All right. That's nice. The Preservarium. Welcome to the premium lands. So close to having this. Man, we should just cut the Rite of Negation out of the deck. Just go full premium here today. Maybe for the next one. But no, I think this is a decent and reasonable idea. We'll see how the matchups play out and pan out. In our last Gauntlet, we had the idea to just come in and kind of just beat up on Gnar. Do what we can to let our opponent play their Gnar deck because he's so common. And then we would see stuff like this happen to where Gnar just didn't show up. And so this is kind of okay-ish. I'm not 100% familiar with what these opponents are doing. I assume that they're going to come in and just ban scouts. I think we can handle like the combo-ness of the landmark. I don't remember. Oh, he's playing Xerath in here as well. He's playing 3 champions across all of these. Wow. I think I'm okay to kind of let the Kindred deck hang. And I do worry like slightly about the Battle Scarsy kind of thing. I think this is where we want to make the ban. They tend to play a lot of like meaty units and AoEs. I don't really want to be seeing the AoEs against our go wide strategies, and so let's go ahead and cut that one out. Okay. All right, so we got the Yordles in arms up against the combo Talia. Not a particularly strong start. Let's get rid of all of this stuff. See if we can't find ourselves some cheaper plays. All right, we might be able to pop off that Yordles in arms pretty quick, but see how this rolls out. Don't have the tracker up, but I did just try to open it. It's had some issues with actually loading while this is up. Something that LOR Guardian actually did kind of nicely, but we'll see. It doesn't look like it's wanting to come up here. I almost skipped right over our sweet attack. That would have been a little painful. All right, lots of opportunities to pop off next turn if he doesn't have any interactivity. Gleaming Lantern looks pretty good here, letting us drop our bros on the cheap. Tristana, not a bro. Bringing the Lady Thunder out here. Looking okay. And so I think we want to get into this combat with a sharp sight. We'll have to leave the Grandfather Fae back at home, but everyone else looks like a pretty decent attack. I'm just going to have to sharp sight through one of these. And then it's like, do we even care about him hanging on to the Lysandra? He's pretty far away from getting the flip on her ability. And so I'm kind of tempted to just go ahead and boom the Wastewalker. I think this is okay. I guess the downside to doing it, well, we're going to lose the... Oh, this is better. We get to keep the Lantern this way and play our phase on the cheap. I take it back. I like this much more. Why did Talia pick the expensive one? What am I missing? Why would you do that? All right, and here we can go with the Loping Telescope. This will get us up to the fourth faction for the Yordles in Arms, getting us really close to this Tristana flip. Here, Protoporo is pretty tempting as well. That's going to get our Tristana to flip. Just fill out this board. All right, Trist, let's boom him. Okay, good deal. Didn't have to run into the Lysandra thing that that does 1 damage to everything. Let's see how big the booms come in. It would kill 2, right? If he plays Ice Shard, it would get the Telescope and the Protoporo. Then if for whatever reason they manage to have 2 Ice Shards, then, you know, congrats. What else are you supposed to say if that's what comes upon us? An Entomb onto Tristana. That's fine. That's very expensive. It should be pretty tough for them to add units to the board here. Get a 3/3 for 3 maybe, but we should be booming. Only 1 impact, though. That would have been a nice way to just chunk him down as low as we can. But acing his board, our dudes all survive. We get in for 12. Looking pretty good. Okay. Is he going to be able to get 2 of these down next turn? Like, 2 Frozen Thralls isn't ultra scary. And then we should be able to just attack around him the turn after. Inquisitor drops, so he's going to get 3 next turn. I think I want to bring in Teemo. Just to try and get some elusive damage in here. We're like most certainly going to have to open attack next turn. And then if he lets our smallest units through, I think this is okay. I guess the other question is, do we want to just go for phase? Because they're going to have the spell shield. And they'll get a boost out of the grandfather. Stana, I'm pretty intent on this one. Oh, we should have waited to see if we wanted to grow the phase. But I just don't want to get blown up by an Ice Shard next turn, right? That's going to be the big problem. That's why I want to play these Fae. What'd you pick? I didn't even click on Swole Squirrel. Less exciting collection out of these. Let's just pass and see what they do. I'd say maybe he'll let us like throw down a block and at least prevent a little bit of this. So Swole Squirrel coming in. I want to keep the impact. Do we want to overwrite Bandle City Mayor? That's probably okay. All right, well, let's see if this attack gets him. We're gonna have Tristana, or we're gonna have 1 unit get through that isn't Tristana. So we should hopefully be able to get this with the impact plus Teemo, right? We get in for 2, an impact, and then 1 damage from Teemo. Did I just completely miscount that? Apparently I did. I do it, my dude. Get in there. Nice. Okay, I was not particularly confident in that one. The things blew up a little bit quicker than I was expecting. But we did it together. We got there at the end of the day. Alright, incoming action Sivir. But, let me see if the tracker will come up now. LOR Master Tracker. It's like I'm afraid to, I don't know what happens if I just exit the game. If it just says, "Oh, bust," you have to concede. I'll reload everything after these matches, but Did it break? Small indie company having problems here? Come on, Riot. What is the deal? I better just restart it. Okay, looks like it did something. Man, I restarted and it went away. Well, I should say I restarted and then the game loaded, but it threw some kind of error. And then I restarted again and it got us to the mulligan screen. So at least we didn't miss out on too much. Opponent, I'm curious if the same thing happened to them. Doesn't appear as though it did. All right, so we're starting off with Akshan. Not a very compelling collection of units to just throw down on the board here. So we'll play Akshan, we'll play the Preservarium, and then we'll try to get some of these spells moving. What you got? The Grizzled Ranger? Sure. Definitely gonna block given the opportunity. Throw old Treasure Seeker in front of them. That didn't go how we wanted. But we're gonna find a gift for Nectin. Take care of this. Not expecting to see Grizzled Ranger come out of these. I'm not entirely certain what opponent is attempting to do here, but bring in some of that heat.
Got a lizard and a shovel.
All right, we're having to put a lot of work into this Grizzled Ranger. What do we got? Sivir? I think I'm okay with just dropping Sivir here. It should take a lot of work from opponent to deal with. It seems better than dropping either Radiant while we're at 20, or dropping the Brightsteel Protector when the Akshan is pretty well protected at this point. Okay. Well, it's as good as this is getting. Let's get these damages in. Get the tick up on our Warlord Palace. Get all the extra damage for Sivir. It's getting to the point. I think we might just have to be playing a no bonus Radiant Guardian, but I mean it's not the end of the world, I guess. Close you to flipping, Sivir. I mean, what do we think this turn? He plays Hecarim. What if we play the Shaped Stone? That's going to pop off our action flip, and then do a Cataclysm on Sivir into Hecarim. Gets us an extra like 7 damage in on the turn. I think I'm pretty on board with this. You can't run from Absolution. Remember that. Okay, so let's start. Do we want to start with the Relic? Let's do. The Absolver combo is pretty close to happening with the Sivir. I think I would rather have our first Absolver than our first Golden Aegis. That's pretty close. He's going to get 7 damage in, go up to needing an additional 8. The Golden Aegis probably just ends the game, though.
This pay by the hour.
Here it is. Bring the booms. Brought. The booms have been brought. Alright, so we can put together a quick attack challenge now. If we attack with our 3 units to the left, it'll flip Akshan, then Akshan can boost the Broadwing to hook down the Badger Bear. Then ideally we just win with the Golden Aegis after the fact. That makes me feel a little bit better about the Golden Aegis take here. Alright, I have a a sneaking suspicion that this one is done. What you got for us, Johnny? Wonder if this is Johnny Magic, old John Finkel out there. Used to run across old Finkel in playing Eternal. He ran across him quite frequently. I mean, unless some other rando was just going by Johnny Magic and playing at Masters, but I was pretty sure that's who it was. As the book on John Finkel was pretty good as well. Johnny Magic and the Card Shark Kids. It's a pretty short read. It's probably only like 150 pages or so. Probably closer to 150, I guess. But he's a pretty interesting fella between, arguably being the best Magic player of all time, if not of all time, most certainly during his prime. Just coming in and annihilating everything. Then in even kind of like recent times, he would just show up to Pro Tours and just make top eights. It's pretty wild. Then he also, if you ever hear of the MIT Blackjack team, he was a part of that. A lot of interesting stuff in there. I can't remember if he did any of the stuff, any of the sports betting. I think he might have. I can't remember. It's been maybe about a decade since I've read the book, but there was a point in time when a lot of the Magic pros just went to Curacao and became professional sports bettors. I can't remember if he was a piece of that or not. And then he's like a hedge fund manager nowadays. He still makes some appearances gaming-wise and out there in the gaming world, but real interesting fella. It's a pretty interesting career that he's pieced together. But nonetheless, let me restart all of this and try to get the deck tracker up, then we'll jump into battle number 2. All right, onwards and upwards, away we go. Ready for battles. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what this Yuumi deck is going to be. I don't think we need to worry about it. It's probably some kind of like go wide strategy that we're ready to beat up on. I think the one that I would actually be worried about here is the dragons. It's just a solid mid-range package that shuts down a lot of what we're doing. I don't know what's coming out of this Frostbite plus Targon deck though. It seems like a little worrisome, but I think I'm going to go with the ban on the dragons. I assume he just banned our scouts again. Oh. Letting us play the scouts today, huh? All right, let's bring him to battle. And speaking of Finkel, that was actually one of the kind of interesting concepts with him. What we just ran into here in picking the scouts. We went against the Sejuani Ash. I forget who he was playing against. It was in one of the invitationals, the Magic invitationals, and it's like he was playing against the opponent. And they're playing some kind of like weird best of 5. It was like there were 5 formats at the Invitational, and he kind of just like boomed his opponent on picking the order, right? Kind of the idea that he had was to just pick your best matchups first, and then the idea was that if he like 2-0s his opponent right at the start, it's much easier to beat up on that opponent in bad matchups when you have 3 shots at it, as opposed to having like your big game at the end with everything on the line. And so he like convinced his opponent to put all of his bad matchups first, and I think he just aced him 3-0. But like that was like a weird format. I'm pretty sure that he was playing like playing some flavor of like Vintage. I can't remember what the other ones were. It was like probably had like a draft aspect to it, and you had to play like a draft deck from the day before. I don't exactly remember how it worked. But all right, reasonably strong start against opponent here. I'm not sure what we're supposed to worry about. Like the big thing I was just considering in my headpiece was an Avalanche, right? Avalanche would be pretty strong against all of our 2 health units, but now that we picked up Ranger's Resolve, I don't worry about it as much. So we should most definitely have a pretty strong combat here. The strong hook onto the Starlit Seer, and then the Fleet Feather Tracker into whatever else they bring forward. Come on, man, why didn't you hook the Broadwing? That would have been a good target.
Just a little farther. Where's my hammer?
Let's just chunk it in. We don't have like good attacks with anything else. It's like we can send in the Squire and have that kind of be it, but I want to chunk in this big sets of damage here. Seems like he has a pretty slow opener, and it makes me feel a little bit stronger when we're just getting these going. Really curious what the Targon is here. Star shaping. All right. You have to spend the extra mana on it. we've got our suppressor friend on the board, and we're definitely just playing Cythria next turn. Could have given Cythria the banner, but I feel like it's probably better to just keep the Ranger's Resolve. I still just worry about some kind of AoE coming in, and so I don't want to just get boomed by that. Okay, we can still safely attack into Sejuani. The question is, do we want to hook Sejuani with the Broadwing, put some damage on her, and protect our good units? I think that's kind of where I stand. The downside to this kind of thing is it does let him get a decent-ish block onto Cythria with the Omen Hawk, and then a block some more. It doesn't seem that great. Let's be real.
I mustn't stop.
So he's going to have one good Sejuani block. I think this is okay. Here comes the Omen Hawk onto Cythria.
Leave no survivors.
Oh, maybe even not. Yeah, she's the only one that can block. Might as well put the point of damage on her. Opponent says, "I'm tired of paying the price. I don't want to deal with the expensive spells."
I will fight like a proud Demacian and die like a stubborn Demacian.
Don't die like a stubborn Demacian. No way. Okay, it's like, what are the chances that we just get to like boom them hard this turn with the birds and the scouts? Like the downside to not opening is opponent has the chance to just play another big unit, which I think I'm like kind of worried about. But his blocks again like aren't great. I think we just boom the squad.
Moving. Still heart, steady aim.
Like this, neither of his blocks are good on our big units.
Prove your worth.
Takes him to 2. That's a pretty good looking Golden Aegis. Okay. More stuff. Star shaping, okay. Making the big decisions. Picking up the most expensive of units, I'm sure. Curious if we ever just want to go ahead and Rangers resolve this board. Let's do it. I think the game's going to end this turn. Let's like dodge something weird that could potentially take down Cythria. Okay. G on the G's. Drop them filthy emotes. Man, I'm sorry the deck tracker isn't up here again. I don't know how many times I have to like restart things. I can I can get it to show up like this. It's like it's turned on, but I don't know what. Are we missing a setting or something? Auto launch on startup. Let's turn that on. Push reset on the tracker size. I don't know. Suggestion. Have the tracker load while the game is open. Done. FTP bust bringing all the good suggestions. Okay, switches from the Frostbite deck over to the Go Wide deck against our Akshan Sivir. Reasonable enough start. Oof. What you got? Mage Seeker Conservator. What are these cards? Alright. You got your hands dirty, Conservator. I mean, we'll kill it. We'll take it down. It's not the most exciting of hooks, but we're just going to continue to build up a board. I'm okay with it. We get to boost up our Sivir a little bit. Sure. Doesn't feel like it's a great spot to just pass. Okay. The Battlesmith ready to party.
We protect these woods as they protect us.
Are we good with the Vagabond? Because like next turn, well, all of this is fairly awkward. We're just going to play Sivir next turn, but it's like, do we really want to take 6 damage off of the Greenfang Warden? We don't have to. We can say like Bright Steel the Broadwing. Maybe this is okay. Still get hooks next turn. Like we could play the Fleet Feather Tracker now. Play Sivir next turn. Then we can Fleet Feather Tracker hook the Battlesmith. Okay. I've been convinced to do worse with less, and so I think this is fine. No reason to attack with the bird. More than happy to trade the Bright Steel for either of these dum-dums. No no Pokey Sticks incoming on Sivir. Alright. Seems fine. Dawn Speakers. Make them grow, my dude. Make them grow. You are about to enter combat, Dawn Speakers. Let's be real. You are about to enter combat. But like the place where this gets interesting is where do we drop the Bright Steel? Now I was looking to just put it on our Bright Steel and then Cataclysm in the Sivir. But I mean, does he ever have a way to kill Sivir? That's where this like potentially becomes disastrous. This is okay. I mean, he has to play another unit to give the Fleet Feather Tracker Challenger. So it's like he's probably going to be playing another unit here. That doesn't give Challenger when you do this, right? The attach doesn't work how we wanted it to. So we're still safe, I think. He's going to need like another 1-cost unit to get out of this. But like, how much do we even care about the Dawn Speakers at this point, right? We can just slam our Sivir into one of these real units. We should probably just take down this Fleet Feather Tracker. I mean, he's going to get the +1/+1 onto the Green Fang, but then next turn we can like Merciless Hunter into the Dawn Speakers. I think that sounds good. Take us up to 18 damage on Sivir. So kind of a wasted barrier, but not horrible. And then I guess like, what do we consider if we want to Merciless Hunter the Green Fang Warden? Then we just pop it with Sivir for like a quick attack challenge. It's a little scary to do that. I think I'm more interested in just hooking the Green Fang Warden with the bird. Need 12 damage to boost Sivir.
My steel is yours. Business as usual.
Which is this? 8, 10. We can get an extra point in this way. Don't get a quick attack challenge this way, but I think this is fine. Harsh winds. Sure. So we lose a unit, he doesn't lose any. Then he takes 8 damage. Not horrible.
We're not taking it. We're taking it back.
I'm curious if we'll ever get to use this Rite of Negation for anything. Doesn't seem ultra strong in this matchup, but it might have its day in the sun. Field promotion. Uh-oh. Field promotion Yuumi? Oh, you didn't do the field promotion Yuumi. Is this where our sharp sight's going to go? Yeah. I mean, he's only got 1 mana at this point. So I don't think we want to actually boost the Sivir here. That seems like a little bit scary. I'm going to boost our Vagabond. So if he has a trick and kills it, it's fine. As it stands, it just wins the combat. And then we boost our Sivir with this attack.
Blade, sand, and treasure. We're gonna ask for more.
And do we just win the game next turn? Like if we play the Radiant? Okay, we just win the game. Did it. Go us, go team.
Guess who just earned her bonus?
All right, round 3. Let's see. We pushed the button on the master tracker, restarted the game. let's see how this goes. So okay, how do we feel about these? This feels like we're playing against decks from like a year and a half ago. I think we're probably okay with playing against Misfortune Swain. That seems like it's going to be kind of like the lowest to the ground aggressive kind of thing. But I mean, seeing both Trundle and Thresh, those tend to be more like control decky archetypes. I feel like this Callista Trundle is probably like the slowest deck that we can probably just come in here and beat up on. I am kind of boozled as to what we expect out of this Thresh Gangplank. Just like the Bandles or the Bilgewater side of things tends to be like a lot of face damage and aggressive type concepts, which I'd be glad to play against, but Thresh is always more of the likes of a control decky kind of champion, and we don't really want to be playing against a bunch of like Withering Whales in the box, but it's tough to tell how like control decky that's actually going to be. It's not like he's playing like Thresh Aurelion Soul, and so I'm confused by that. I'm still going to come out here and ban Misfortune Swain. But I feel like maybe we should have taken down the Thresh Gangplank. That feels like the most mid-rangey kind of thing out of what he's going to be doing. Guess we're about to find out what's coming at us. I wonder if he's just trying to do like empowered AoEs of some sort. Right, that would like in Expedition, that would be kind of like using powder kegs and withering whales to AoE off your opponent's board. Like I could see that kind of being a thing, but otherwise, I mean, the only time you ever see Shadow Isles Bilgewater would be up against like sea monsters, and this isn't sea monsters, and so I'm a little perplexed as to what we're actually playing against here. And it's like now the new question is: do we have to worry about something like Parlay? I think we're just going to play it slow in terms of, I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this, but I'm going to game plan this under the assumption that we're playing against like a real AoE heavy deck. And so I'm going to play the 2 health unit first. I'm going to follow up with the Durand Sculptor and see if we can't just build up a big collection of health to get through it. And, I don't feel like I'm super wrong here as our opponent's turn to play is the Dreadway deckhand. But I think here we're looking to play like Vanguard Sergeant. I think this is the kind of space to where they're considering like opening with Make It Rain, since they're guaranteed to hit both of our units, or if they want to roll the dice and try and get the 3-for-1. Like I'm most certainly playing Vanguard Sergeant this turn. I don't want to have to run into too much of that stuff. Man, this is a little unfortunate in that. Make It Rain is going to be quite good here, but this feels like exactly what we're up against with him putting down, putting down the powder keg and then offering these attacks up. And so, like, how can we best combat this? Right? I think. I mean, this looks like a 3 damage Make It Rain. We'll have the option to either say like play Mirai Warden to get 2 units, or we can just open Brightsteel Protect or something. Let's get the little damage on our Sergeant. But I think what happens if we open next turn, right? If we try to open attack to take down the powder kegs, he just plays Make It Rain and kills our board. I don't think that's a great spot to be in. And the Broadwing is just naturally big enough to survive this. Right, he'll have 4 health. So the downside to adding all this stuff to the board is it does, kind of like reduce the chances of him hitting face. But it feels like a Withering Wail. That's that's a lot worse than a Make It Rain. It's at least a little more expensive for him, but curious if we shouldn't have just gone for the Brightsteel or just open and accept that the damage is coming in. What happens if we just pass? I think it's okay. I don't want to just drop Quinn and have her get boomed on this board. It's fairly tempting to... Well, we don't have the mana. I was going to say it's pretty tempting to just like wait so that we can banner up the Quinn and then use the quick Quinn hooks onto the Thresh. It seems like it's going to be a lot of work though. A little too slow. If we 3-bank out of this turn, though, we can do the Golden Aegis plus 4 Demacia next turn. Right, we'll be at 7, 3-banked on mana. I think that seems pretty good. Depends on what they invest into the board and such, but... Just like hunting pressure geese. Oof. Then how do we feel actually about just passing? Right? If he's going to send it back to us and try and be clever, how do we feel about passing and just trying to get out of this? Doesn't look like that's happening well. Not without the bird. Taking the Thresh trade. Interesting. He's got another another AoE lined up for us. Some incoming powder kegs. Oh, Thresh Part 2. Okay. Let's see how this goes. I'm curious if we can't get quite a big turn here. You need him to like spend a bunch of mana on a unit. It's kind of scary just to drop the 4 Demacia on this board. Like if we lose a singular unit, it kind of sucks a lot. But if he just like open hits onto Quinn, I feel fairly safe just adding units to the board. Just it's a little scary having like the two fleet feather trackers with 1 health against this mega AOE deck. All right, well, things are about to go wrong. So let's go ahead and drop the 4 Demacia, take away some of these good hooks from him, and then see where this goes. So here's the Quinn attack. He's going to make some amount of block. And now, if he doesn't play a unit, he just gets lethaled. Sure. We might just get the lethal here, right? Because the Quinn is going to flip when she attacks. The Quinn bird hooks Thresh, and then we're coming in for 17 damage. So he has to play something here, or we'll just boom him. Boomed. Sure. Okay. Survived the AoEs once. Let's see if we can do it again. Do it again with the Yordles. It's a little... I guess it's not like extremely scary. We just have like the spell shield owls, right? They give us a lot of potential to get around the AoEs that are coming at us. Okay. All right. Glad we were able to kind of deduce what we were playing against. You know, I haven't encountered that style of deck on the ladder, and so I feel like that's one of the places where Expedition is kind of useful to be playing. It's not like a big you know, deck that you're going to run into a lot, but it was certainly real at various times throughout Expedition's history. But starting in with this Teemo. No parlays. Getting them puff caps in. See if opponent is ready to squeeze them butt cheeks. I'm gonna sharp sight this. I think this Teemo is going to be okay. It's going to be like tough for us to get a good sharp sight at any point throughout this game. And so let's just go ahead and take advantage of that while we can. Don't expect big things out of this Teemo, right? We're most certainly not playing a Teemo deck. It's just that he is a Piltover card as we're trying to boost up Yordles in arms. Sure. Get our Fae on the discount. Impact, please. But I was ready to just come in and hook the powder keg with our 3/2. Apparently that's not going to be the case today, but opponent did low roll quite a bit hitting picks, but I think this is fine. We don't have the phase to be like comboing out anyways. We got to cheat in the Blast Cone Seedling, and then that was, you know, kind of the end of it. We're just given the makeup of our hand at this point. Not to say it won't be relevant a few turns from now, but at least given the cards we have, it's not a super big deal. Buster shots ready for opposing Gnars. See, where are they at? But Gnar's fine here. It should stop his attacks with these smaller units. Like, if he wants to make a good-looking attack, it's either just hitting with Petty Officer, which is kind of whatever, or he has to make like a Pix attack onto the Stinky Wump, and then we get the free block onto Pix with the Gnar. I think both of those are completely fine. the question that comes down here now is, do we want to like keep this impact, right? It keeps us from having to spend a pokey stick on face, and potentially lets us take down a smaller unit. I'm a little suspect by this. I don't want our Gnar to get too low, right? I don't want him dying to a 1 damage AoE. Let's just take this for the moment. As I see this Ranger's Resolve in hand, and I'm pretty tempted to play the Lantern, but I think this is okay. This is going to guarantee us the Gnar flip. We have the Ranger's Resolve if he tries to get too cutesy in his blocks. And then I guess the question comes down to, like, do we feel like we need to save this Ranger's Resolve for an AoE, which is probably better. We can just lose the Blastcone Seedling here. The only downside to this board is we don't get to pick up a pokey stick to hit the Petty Officer. But we will get the Gnar flip from the impact. So I'm just going to spew this turn, right? Let's just play the Lantern. We'll play Buster Shot on anything. He's having trouble getting on board, and so without the access to the pokey stick to take down the Petty Officer, I just don't want to be like banking and leaving this on the board. We need to end this one fairly quickly. Is that something we actually hit with Buster Shot? It deals 2 damage to itself, right? So he only gets these Powder Monkeys once. I think this is okay. This is a play I never felt like I would be making in my lifetime, putting Buster Shot onto Monkey Idol, but I guess that's where we're at. All right, let's manifest one of these expensive phase. Well, we got our choice in the expensive one here. Do we ever need to just pick the Tasty Feyfolk, though? Probably not. It's just I worry about the Furious Feyfolk's ability to actually deal damage here. But, like, at this stage of the game, like, our opponent has a million health, or like a million cards in hand. I don't think we can just sit and dawdle around with a bunch of lifesteal cards. Whoa. It's about to be a bad day to be a bad day to be Gnar. I mean, we could have played the Ranger's Resolve. Something's about to go weird with this. But he's down to 2 mana. He can't Black Spear Gnar. How does this work? When you summon, give it impact. Gonna overwhelm 5 on the Petty Officer, so we hit for 5, 8, 12 with impact. All right, well this is a lethal. Gonna go ahead and bring it. It should even lethal through a Withering Wail. Yeah. This dude looks so weird. Just like a big blob of something. He kind of looks like a thumb. All right. Did we do it? Neg 1. Congrats, Team Bust. We did it. All right. All right. Make our way into that final battle. Let's see if we can't get the deck tracker on the screen. This is the story of the day. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to restart my whole computer. Just get the whole thing out there, you know? And so let's see if we can't at least get the get the thing on the screen for the final battle. All right, here we go. Oh man, I just realized I forgot to update our weight loss tracker. I feel like it's day 69 and we're not gonna make it on there. And so a little sad, but nonetheless, here's some of the matchups we were expecting. We're just banning Yuumi Ban-theon. That was our our idea from the start. So we will have to play against what is this? Ezreal Karma and then Zed Action. The ban comes in on our, or Zed Sivir. The ban comes in on our glorious scouts. It's kind of what I expected to happen every time. I just want everyone to get to enjoy and see our Stony suppressors, and it's just not going to be the not going to be the case today. Let's see. Got the deck tracker up, looking good. Actions here ready for battle. Let's hang on to one combat trick. I'm going to get rid of the Absolver. So if we need to try and say block Zed with an action, then we'll have a 4 health instead of a 3 health. Boom it. Nice. What is Zed? Zed used to be such a wonder in Expedition, and then he got he got boomed a little bit too hard. He doesn't have the he has to run into too many 4 health units these days, and just doesn't quite get the job done as it used to. But here we have like a million combat tricks in our hand. I think I just want to play it like a little slow with this action. Like I know he's going to get boomed by the Roiling Sands, but hopefully this is not too bad. His attack here is still free. Might as well get the boost on the Warlord's Palace. And then these units aren't exciting enough to take down with the Fleet Feather Tracker. As we have this like mega spell heavy hand, we just have to be you know, kind of picky and choosy where we get this into battle. Since we're going to have to, we're not, you know, playing for trades at this point. Okay. Boom me for that point of damage. You did it. Okay. Feels pretty safe. Do we want to grappling hook anything? We do have, like, you know, the actual action in our hand for the grappling hook. I'm okay to kind of like spew it on some of these bad units since we have the Concerted Strike in our hand, but I don't think that's going to be completely necessary. Vagabond was a great draw. So we can like potentially just flip action to prevent a point of damage or whatever if we need to. Oh yeah, Varg is going to make a meal of him. So how do we feel about this? I think we just make this attack here. So we hit with action. I want to hook the Merciless Hunter with the Fleet Feather Tracker. I'm going to hook the 1-2 with the Bird, and then just leave the Vagabond at home. I don't want to spend any of these combat tricks to take down Rockhopper. I mean, maybe we do. Makes it tougher for him to try and hook down action next turn, but I think this is okay. Spirit's Refuge. Sure. That wasn't on my radar. Do we want to Concerted Strike this Merciless Hunter down? I kind of like that one. Protects our bird, keeps him from gaining the health back. He's pretty far behind on board, and then we still have a single combat if we need to use it. Action strikes. Let this 3/3 strike. I think this is good. Then it still helps, like, you know, if he wants to put Zeds on the board or whatever, it gives us a good option to take him down. Get to boom for that extra point of action damage. Feels nice. I like it when things feel nice. Okay, let's pick up Sivir. Beautiful, beautiful. Maybe convert these bad challengers into quick attack challenges now. I don't think we're going to get to do the Absolver combo, excuse me, on this next attack. I mean, maybe. Maybe. So what's he going to do? He's going to quick attack challenge down Akshan, and then we just play another action after the fact. I think that's okay. Let's play the Treasure Seeker. This is going to be our best blocker here.
Business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
All that glitter is mine.
I got one of them Sivers too. Radiant makes an appearance. That's kind of cool.
Step lightly. It's a living.
Does he ever just let this happen? Let's see. We should have Sivir down here at the end. She needs to see 12, 13 damage. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we might potentially get a flip. We'll have to see. I don't feel great in that happening. But if he tries to get overly clever here, then let's take the Sivir down. Man, that's so close to lethal. I wonder if we could have pushed the damage, like Absolver down to the left, or maybe played a single combat or something, and then got that last point of damage in with Sivir. There's like a slight worry that he's going to have a... gonna have the likes of a... another vulnerable. Let's just stop here and bank. We might want to be playing Waking Sands this turn, so let's keep Akshan back. Brightsteel was a huge pickup. Now if he wants to Merciless Hunter down Sivir, she's protected. That's how you draw him right there. That's the way it's done. Looking pretty good now, am I right? He can still kill her. It just takes like a ton of work if he wants to take Sivir down. And realistically, they probably just have to do it. That's a little scary. Not a huge fan of seeing this elusive Sivir.
It's a living. We'll get our links in. Spark knows the way.
And we do get to block some of this stuff, right? I was mainly just worried about a flipped Sivir hit giving everything elusive. I don't think he's quite there, and we do have single combats onto the Radiant Guardian to prevent a ton of damage.
Hold back the darkness.
Alright, this only drops us to 11. Okay. I like it. So now Sivir is going to give everything lifesteal. What happens if we single combat this Fey Guide? It's going to deal 3 and then 2. So it will kill our Radiant Guardian. I think it's okay. Well, it would be kind of nice just to come in and spend the mana this turn, though. Do we want to, like, backline somebody? We could... He's tapped out of mana here, so the Sivir spell, the Sivir thing doesn't matter. So let's do this. Let's single combat Sivir onto the Fey Guide. It won't gain as much health this way. Sivir's still safe. We can follow up with Akshan. This looks good.
I'm a woman of principle. Mine is kill and get paid.
Okay, so that has happened. What up, Akshan? Get your flipping going. Now, do we just want to do the shield thing? Give everyone a big boost? Probably feel safer with that. Feels a little better than just picking up the biggest unit that we've lost. Okay. And then do we need to open? I don't think so. I'm going to feel better if we can take this Sivir off of the board. So it's like if he was going to boom our Sivir in the middle of combat, he could just do it anyways, right? There's not going to be any slow spells they play to boom our Sivir, but it is nice to have the hook come in onto hers. Okay.
Danger pays.
Wrap 'em up tight.
A little something like that. I like it. All right. Game 1. Done. Mark it a W. Ooh.
Vengeance with a smile.
All right. Let's see how the Yordles and arms can hold up. I'm still curious what's coming out of that Karma Ezreal. I haven't seen that kind of thing in ages. I guess we're gonna get to see it here. Gonna drop a. Kind of curious what their removal suite's like, and if we want to hang on to Ranger's Resolve, it's probably pretty decent with this a start like this. But no, if he's gonna be dropping, I guess he's not playing the Harrowings. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the Harrowing come down. All right, Teemo's down, ready for business. Yordles in arms has been picked up. Give me some of that impact. May hold back on the seedling. I'm curious what kind of play they'll have here. Mystic shot? Okay. That was not a unit. It's nice to see Teemo go down, right? We're only playing Teemo because he's the Piltover champion. The seedling would have actually been the better choice from our opponent. So that feels like a win. Oop, I was clicking a whole lot right there as these came up. So we just probably want to go with the Tenor of Terror to get the 2 units. What's Mushroom Ring? When I'm summoned or around start, give me power equal to the number of allied Fae or attached. So he would be a 3/3. It is kind of nice on this board, but I think we want to go with the Tenor. Tristana. Have we played a created card? Played a created card or killed a unit with a spell. Messed that up a little bit. I thought we were going to get the double unit out of the Tenor. It's like we're out here creating cards all the time. I just kind of assumed that we already did it. We'll have to wait until we play something off of Face Sprout. So yeah, I would have definitely preferred one of the cheaper options out of this Tenor. Uh-oh, this is going to be a monstrous Ranger's Resolve. I can already tell. The way he's chaining these spells off. Okay, that feels great. I mean, if we're already ahead on board, it is nice to see opponent just play card selection. Saying, oh no, bust. Your board is way too good. Singular Mystic Shot. Let's let that happen.
Ready yourself.
It's going to be unfortunate if this damage is just like way spread out across everything. No, that's fine. Oh, give me that Buster Shot. We want to go Lantern here. The big thing is being able to protect our units after we do this. But I think this is fine. I don't think we need to go for the Fae. Okay. Now, is this Eye of the Dragon actually the target as opposed to Ezreal? I think it is. These little dragonlings are just going to be more important than this Ezreal is. He's going to have to come out and block. We lost a lot of dudes. It's a little unfortunate for our Yordles in arms, but getting 2 on board with the Tenor of Terror is quite nice now. We'll have a little sharp sight backup as well. I like it. That's right. Bye-bye, bad guys. Get him, Trist. Ready to boom him. So I guess the question here is, do we actually attack with the Bass? The Bass of Burden just trades with the Feline. I think we can let him sit back, and maybe he gets a little bit better with the Yordles in arms. Well. Now I'm just definitely attacking with everything. He has to put something in front of Tristana. She's just going to blast way too hard. Well, he Mystic Shots this one instead of just blocking it. He's tapped out now. I wish we could have gotten away with this with just using Ranger's Resolve, but kind of is what it is. Okay, I'd say he has to block with Ezreal. Ezreal has a good block on the Tenor, though. He's going to put the 2-1 on Trist, block the big boy. And then, yeah, Ezreal will go on the Tenor. Takes 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oof. There's a lot of impacts coming in. It doesn't seem like Ezreal's the answer here. It's a very big mana investment in this guy. Buster Shot. I'm ultimately pretty afraid of what's coming out of the Fallen Feline. But this is hopefully his last Ezreal, right? He's played a he played an Ezreal Mystic Shot earlier. He could have like if he has he has ways out of this, right? He can Electrostatic Shock or just play 2 spells, but it should give us a good Ranger's Resolve if he's like putting a Get Excited on the Tenor and a Mystic Shot onto the Seedling. Okay. It's all good. So he gets to like attack. Mystic Shot goes to hand. He's going to Mystic Shot the Tenor of Terror. We play Ranger's Resolve and then just open for the kill next turn. I think we can do it. He has to have like a lot of cards next turn to get around this. I'll protect you, my friend. Wonder how much better this. I mean, this would look so much better if we just Buster Shotted the Feline. But I think we have to come in and just make him have it here. I think that's okay. If he doesn't have the Static Shock and has to play like 2 spells there and doesn't get to add much to the board, and then we counter both of the spells with the Ranger's Resolve, it's so nice. I'm just worried about the flurry of spells coming in and Ezreal popping us from 13. It's not easy, but it's kind of doable. Two spells coming at us. All right, Trist. It's going to be enough to get the job done. It's going to have a third spell to take Tristana down. Oof. Did it. Nice. Okay, GG. Well done, decks of ours. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess that worked out reasonably well. We didn't run into quite as many meta decks as we'd expected running across the ladder, but I think this is still, a pretty decent and reasonable strategy. It seems like granted, I'm still learning the ways of constructed and learning the ways of best of three, but I feel like if we're just playing against like meta decks every single round, then this is a pretty good idea, right? We just assume that we beat the control decks. We tune our deck to beat the aggro and the burn decks, and then we try and ban out the mid-range decks wherever we can. And so, the idea is to ban off Yuumi Ban-theon. If that doesn't exist, then we want to ban Trundle Gnar. And then if it's some kind of lineup that's like, Yuumi Ban-theon, Trundle Gnar, and then like dragons or something, then we're probably just going to lose, right? We aren't playing a particularly balanced lineup here. This is just looking to pick on things that aren't mid-range decks. And if we have to play against 3 mid-range decks, then we're probably just going to lose. If we do have to play against like Trundle Gnar, that should be pretty much a coin flip for all of our matchups. And so that's assuming they ban scouts. But if they ban scouts, we should be kind of coin flipping. And then hopefully we'll win one of the two. But, it was good enough for us today to get that prime glory. I was pretty happy with how this run turned out. And if you want to play these cards, hopefully you'll have some success as well. So that is going to do it for us today. Hope everyone enjoyed the Gauntlet. You may be... who did we turn premium today? That was the key, the factor, the Preservarium. All right, I hope you learned how to preserve that Preservarium, my dudes. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.